Hello, all, and welcome to part two of the operating system and file management. From here, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the actual boot process itself. So once you turn power on, you're activating the CPU by a reset. What it's basically doing is saying, I need you to go in and everything that you can zeroize it. So the number one thing is computer receives power from the power supply or battery and sends, let's see if I can get this out of the way, and sends it to the circuitry. The BIOS is loaded. The processor runs the Bootstrap program. And with that Bootstrap program, it executes a series of tests to check the components. Do I have a keyboard? Do I have a mouse? Do I have a monitor? It checks to see that those things actually exist. Otherwise, it won't come on. The computer loads the operating system files into RAM, including the kernel. That is the main file that says, okay, wake up everybody. We're getting ready to start the operating system. The computer loads the system configuration information and loads the startup programs. Now, on the little spin out that they have here at the bottom, as you can see, it hit the Bootstrap loader, went from the BIOS perform test post. That was the one where it's checking to make sure that it has all the components it needs to have. And then it initializes the OS and a login screen comes up. And now you're being welcomed into Windows. All right, so they're showing you an early example of it, except this time they're giving you pictures. All right, the power on system test. So you're powering on your uh, computer. And then two, it goes to the BIOS and that's loaded. That little circle that you see right there, that is the ROM chip that you have written to, that you can write to. You can upgrade that. From there, it's going to take you down to or over to the Bootstrap loader. And that's going to pull in all the other programs that it needs, utilities included, to start everything up. And then there's a power on self-test or the post test. That's where it's actually checking to make sure that all of the peripherals do exist. From there, we're going to go to the operating system, and that's going to take you to your main memory. Once you see that, you should see your login screen. So that's basically the entire thing in a nutshell. So how operating systems manage input and output. Input and output. Input, any data and instructions entered into the memory of a device. Output is the information processed into a useful form. Output is the goal of input. So there's a buffer and spooling. Buffer is an area of memory that stores data and information waiting to be sent to the input or the output device. Placing data in the buffer is called spooling. You'll often see this compared to when it's going for a print. It'll actually spool the information over to the printer because typically printers don't have real large memory. So it has to be done in sections so that the printer doesn't become overwhelmed. By sending data to a buffer, the operating system frees up resources to perform other tasks while the data waits to be processed. Now you can customize the settings that you have on your Windows machine. You can change the screen brightness, add desktop themes, adjust screen resolution, adding sound to the scheme. Uh, you can also pin frequently used apps to the taskbar. You can selecting items to appear in a notification area. So all of these things are items that you can do to kind of personalize it. I remember, oh, way back in the no, it was the late 80s, early 90s. I used to have a computer that I turned on, and when it would turn on, I had this voice, which was mine, saying, "Hey, you need to get busy," to let me know that it had already gotten to the point where I could log in and start working. It was just me being me. All right, customized system software. You can link your smartphone to your computer. You can uninstall apps. You can add accounts. You can manage network connections, adjust privacy settings, customize your desktop, or move taskbar. Now, a lot of people end up moving their taskbar and they don't know how it got up on the right-hand side. Well, all you have to do is grab it with your mouse and pull it back down, and you won't have a problem. You can also add shortcuts to your desktop. Now, if you want to customize your hardware, that's a little different. Porting devices such as your mouse and your uh, adjust trackpad sensitivity, you can actually adjust the sensitivity of your mouse. So as you move it across the screen, it will move either faster or slower depending on how you like the mouse to move. And you can also put on a something they call track. It shows the tracking of where the mouse is moving from and going to. And then of course on the keyboard, you can change commands associated with certain keys, right? On your F keys, you can change to what they actually do, or you could change the language if you like. Let's say that your natural language is not it's not English, maybe it's Spanish, and you want to be able to have accent points and things of that sort. You can change your keyboard to match that. You can adjust the settings for your toggle keys. Your toggle keys are those F keys, okay, F1 through 12. And you can get them to do other things other than what they were originally designed to do. You just need to go into the keyboard and tell it, all right, when I hit this key, this is supposed to happen. Now, when it comes to Windows, there's common elements that you're going to see throughout any Windows product. And those items are the maximize button, the minimize, the close, and the restore. These are vertical and horizontal scroll bars that also will exist in any Windows product. Now, the center area displays the contents. The title bar is at the very top, and it holds the name of the application file or folder that it's actually looking at. So whenever you sit down to a Windows machine, you're going to notice what the file name is right at the very top. Now, multiple windows can be opened at once and appear side by side or stacked. The active window is the one that's currently being used. By using a feature they call Snap, it's a feature in Windows 10 that allows you to display two windows side by side. If you drag the window over to the right-hand side, and just about the point where it's about to leave the screen altogether, it'll snap it back to the center position and allow for left-hand side to be displayed. In order to stack up another display, all you have to do is click on it and it'll fill it in. And so you'll have two different windows side by side that you can work with. It makes it does help if you're filling out a form on one side and maybe looking for the information on the other side. It makes it a snap, so to speak. All right, so here's your program window, and as you can see, there's several files that have been located on the desktop. One word of caution: when it comes to your desktop, it wasn't designed to actually have a large amount of files located on it. You usually find shortcuts to other programs, things of that sort. But I noticed that some folks will fill it up with files. That's real nice if you know that you're going to constantly use that file. But the only problem is that the desktop can become corrupt very easily. And if it does, and you have that file located on the desktop, is very likelihood that you will lose that file. So you always need to make sure that it's always better to have a shortcut to the file. And that way you save yourself some headache time. But that's the way it normally runs. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the folder window. All right. And in this particular one, we're looking at program files. That is the folder that we're looking at. And these are the files, subfolders that are located in there. It starts off with this PC, goes to the local disk drive, which is your C drive. And then we went over to program files slash, I'm sorry, x86. And these are the files that are located within that. And if you notice, it holds most of your applications. That's where you'll find most of your applications in the program file x86. All right, resources. This is an operating system controls your computer by managing the resources, which are components required to perform work such as processor, RAM, storage, space, and connected devices. Windows Task Manager is a Windows feature that provides details about the programs, processes running on your computer. It also displays the most commonly used performance measures for processes. Uses the Task Manager can provide you with a detail on current programs and see which programs have stopped responding. Interact with a GUI. All right, so you have Tile, which is a shaded rectangle such as the Windows Start menu that represents an app or other resources. An icon is a small picture that represents the program file or hardware device. And then you have buttons. A button is a graphic that you click to execute commands. You need to work with an app or such as one on your toolbar, taskbar, or in the ribbon. This is the way that you're going to make it happen. At this point, we've reached part 3. I'm going to go ahead and end it here, and we'll see you at part 3. Hang on, there's just a couple more.